Have you ever wondered why you keep chasing unconditional love, yet it always slips away? It's not about luck, it's about patterns you learned long before you ever dated anyone. Let's talk about it. Before we can understand how we love as adults, we have to go back to where we first learned what love meant. When love only came if you behaved or achieved, you learned it had conditions. Warm one moment, cold the next. You learned love could vanish anytime. Uncertainty became your baseline, making you anxious about losing love. You search for unconditional love to fix an old wound, but chasing only pushes it away. And when that wound drives your behavior in relationships, it often takes one of two very different forms. Yet both are rooted in the same emptiness. One way this wound shows up is by clinging too tightly. Silence feels unsafe, so you stay constantly connected. Small gaps or delays feel like proof they'll leave. You repeat old tactics, pleasing, criticizing, or acting out to get attention. You believe love must be earned through effort or sacrifice, but not everyone copes by holding on tighter. Some go the opposite way. They protect themselves by staying distant. This is the pattern of keeping your heart guarded. You keep emotional distance even from those you love. Deep feelings feel overwhelming, not comforting. Independence becomes your armor against pain. You pull back just when love could grow. Whether you cling or avoid, both patterns are fueled by the same thing: a sense that love is scarce. Scarcity changes how love feels and how long it lasts. You're always on edge, waiting for loss. Pressure pushes away joy and attraction. You give everything but still feel it's not enough. Drama feels like love, but it's not. So if scarcity distorts our view of love, what does love look like when it's healthy and secure? Healthy love doesn't need to be earned, it's given freely. Love is steady, reliable, and safe. You don't need to test or prove anything. You can be fully yourself without fear. Both partners grow without holding each other back. Here's the truth. Until you heal your attachment patterns, you'll keep chasing love in ways that push it away. When you feel whole without needing someone to complete you, love stops running and finally starts staying.
Today, I'm going to talk about
Express clearly, live better.
the cheapest, most effective way to solve problems. It's not buying self-help books or waiting for the right moment. It's learning how to express yourself clearly, calmly, and confidently. And yes, that means making it a daily habit. When I say express yourself, I'm not talking about talking endlessly, gossiping, or unloading all your emotions on people. I'm talking about knowing exactly what you feel, exactly what you think, and being able to communicate that in a way people can understand and respect. Think about it. How many times have you had a perfect thought in your head, but the second you opened your mouth, it came out all wrong? The sentences felt tangled, the order was off, and you could tell the other person didn't really get your point. In casual conversations, maybe it's just a little awkward. But in your career, poor communication can cost you opportunities, relationships, trust. The good news? Communication is a skill, and like any skill, you can train it. There's a process, 3 steps that, if you practice regularly, will completely change how you speak, write, and carry yourself. Step 1. Write before you speak. You will never say something clearly if you can't first write it clearly. A lot of messy talking comes from trying to speak before your thoughts have formed. So, before an important conversation, presentation, or even a difficult text message, write it out. Start with your main point or conclusion. Then give your reasons. Add a short example or story. Finish with a clear takeaway. This structure forces your brain to organize ideas. If that feels intimidating, practice with small things. Describe your favorite movie in 2 sentences. Write a short, clear answer to, "What do you do for work?" The more you do it, the faster your brain will sort thoughts into a logical order. Step 2. Turn writing into speaking. Once you can write your thoughts clearly, practice saying them. Record yourself on your phone as if you're explaining it to a friend or an audience. Then, here's the hard part, listen to it the next day. Why? Because when you hear yourself, you notice without your brain ignores in the moment. You'll hear where you rambled, where you lost energy, where you rushed. You'll catch filler words, awkward pauses, and moments where your confidence dropped. Fix those parts. Record again. If you're ready for a challenge, post it online for feedback. Step 3. Practice in real-world situations. Here's something most people don't realize. Many communication problems aren't about words. They're about presence. When talking to someone with higher status or influence, people tend to over-apologize, over-explain, or even put themselves down. The unspoken message is, "I'm not worth listening to." That's not confidence. That's self-sabotage. Instead, keep your posture open. Speak a little slower. Pause before answering. Give yourself space to think. Confidence isn't about volume. It's about steadiness. And remember, in negotiations, collaborations, or even personal conversations, don't try to win right away. First, listen to understand. Acknowledge the other person's feelings or perspective, even if you disagree. Find common ground, then present your ideas with evidence. If it works, great. If it doesn't, move on. Strong communication isn't about convincing everyone. It's about connecting with the right people. When you do this, you're giving emotional value, making the other person feel heard, respected, and understood. And that's what often opens the door to better results, both in business and in life. So if you want a stronger mindset, start here. Not with motivational quotes or complicated theories, but with the simple daily practice of expressing yourself. On paper, in your voice, and face to face. Do this, and you won't just speak better. You'll live better. What's really trapping young Americans today? Is it student loans piling up endlessly, job uncertainty, or the overwhelming cost of healthcare? Maybe it's the constant pressure of social media, where our self-worth gets tied to likes, shares, and unrealistic standards. Are we stuck comparing ourselves to idealized lifestyles we see online, feeling inadequate at every swipe? In a society polarized by politics and divided by opinions, perhaps we're losing our genuine connections with others. Freedom isn't scrolling endlessly. It's found in meaningful, authentic conversations and experiences. Maybe what traps us isn't external conditions alone, but the fear of not measuring up to an image society dictates. It's time we redefine success on our terms, embracing our imperfections and authenticity. Because the strongest cage isn't made by others, it's built by our own doubts and fears. Sometimes those fantasies feel better than real life. They're like free painkillers, easy to access, instantly soothing. But here's the truth. If you're always escaping into your imagination, it might be more than zoning out. It could be maladaptive daydreaming, a real psychological coping mechanism. We build fantasy worlds because real life feels too painful, too lonely, too out of control. Maybe you grew up feeling ignored, judged, or never truly seen. So now you create stories where you finally feel safe, powerful, wanted. But the more perfect the fantasy, the harsher reality feels. And slowly, we lose touch. Here's how to break this cycle. Turn fantasy into action. Use those dreams as blueprints. Break them down into small, real-world goals. Get around people who make you feel seen, not judged. Practice sharing your real emotions. No filters, no scripts. Your imagination is beautiful, but your real life deserves love too. And the more you engage with the present, the less you'll need to escape it. You're not too sensitive. You're just ready to come home to yourself. Ever feel like your biggest enemy is your own mind? You want to start anything, but your brain floods with questions. What if I fail? Will they judge me? Am I even good enough? So you wait. You overthink. And slowly, the spark fades. You rehearse every conversation in your head before it happens. Water down your words, soften your tone, just to avoid being misunderstood. You're not living. You're managing perceptions. Then come the thoughts that never shut up. Embarrassing memories, worst-case scenarios, a voice that whispers, "You're the problem. You're not enough." That's not reality. It's mental exhaustion. You're stuck in a fight with yourself, trying to win a war no one else can see. But hear this. You don't have to silence a noise all at once. Just shift your focus. Do one small thing you can control. Stand up. Drink water. Send the text. Prove to your brain you're still here, still moving. You're not broken. You're just tired of carrying everything alone. You deserve to rest without guilt, and you deserve to come back.
one quiet step at a time.
In psychology, there's a personality type that looks bright on the outside, but carries constant heaviness inside. They laugh, joke, socialize. People call them the sunshine in the room. But quietly, they've stopped expecting much from life. Sound familiar? Maybe everyone says you're cheerful, easy to talk to, the one who lifts the mood. But they don't see how your brain spirals the moment something small goes wrong. You don't solve problems, you imagine the worst-case scenario before anything even happens. You've rehearsed breakdowns that haven't even occurred. That's called catastrophic thinking, a cognitive distortion. It makes tiny problems feel massive. It filters every moment through a lens of fear. You don't overthink because you're dramatic. You do it because you're scared you won't survive the real pain if it actually comes. You joke it off. You say, "I'm fine." Not because you are, but because you've been disappointed too many times to risk hoping. It's not paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Your brain has learned to expect the letdown, but your heart is tired from preparing for it. You bottle your emotions. You write long messages and delete them. Not because you don't feel, it's because you're scared of being met with silence. You stay up late, scrolling, until a random line cracks your chest open. The tears are close, but still, you whisper, "It's fine." And the next day, you smile again like nothing happened. This is high-functioning depression. It wears a bright face and keeps showing up, not because it's easy, but because it became a habit. Often it starts early. Maybe when small mistakes were met with harsh words. Why can't you just be good? Why do you always mess things up? So you tried harder. You started believing love had to be earned. Be good, be quiet, be useful. Then maybe, just maybe, you'd be enough. You became the fixer, the caretaker, the people pleaser, the one who always checked how others felt, even when no one checked on you. You carry everyone, but never say when you're breaking. It's not that you don't want to be seen. You've just stopped believing anyone would really stay if they saw the mess. You fear vulnerability not because you're cold, but because you've been hurt for being honest. So you shut down, you swallow tears, until one day your silence becomes a habit too. But here's the truth, you're not too sensitive. You're just long overdue for gentleness. So where do we begin? Not with forcing strength, but with softness. Start by giving yourself permission to be messy, to collapse, to admit, even in a whisper, "I'm not okay." You don't feel too much. You just haven't felt safe in too long. Take 5 minutes, breathe. No screen, no pressure, just stillness. That's not laziness, that's recovery. Next time the emotions flood in, don't ask, "Why am I like this?" Ask, "What do I need right now? A fix or just a hug?"
You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to be cheerful to be understood. You've already held on for so long. Let yourself rest. You were always worthy of being treated gently. What's really trapping young Americans today? Is it student loans piling up endlessly, job uncertainty, or the overwhelming cost of healthcare? Maybe it's the constant pressure of social media, where our self-worth gets tied to likes, shares, and unrealistic standards. Are we stuck comparing ourselves to idealized lifestyles we see online, feeling inadequate at every swipe? In a society polarized by politics and divided by opinions, perhaps we're losing our genuine connections with others. Freedom isn't scrolling endlessly. It's found in meaningful, authentic conversations and experiences. Maybe what traps us isn't external conditions alone, but the fear of not measuring up to an image society dictates. It's time we redefine success on our terms, embracing our imperfections and authenticity. Because the strongest cage isn't made by others, it's built by our own doubts and fears.
3 mindsets that will set you free. Number 1, learn to accept the sudden losses in life. Spilled milk, a lost wallet, a love that slipped away, a friendship that ended. If you can't change it, let it go. Just remember, in this world, nothing really matters except life and death. Number 2, don't feel small. Don't think you're less than anyone else. How good someone is, how well they're doing, that has nothing to do with you. Everyone walks their own path. So instead of overthinking, focus on becoming better. And number 3, live in the past and you'll feel depressed. Live in the future and you'll feel anxious. Only when you live in the moment can you truly be happy. We've only got around 30,000 days in this life, so enjoy one day at a time. Be brave. because you'll never be younger than you are right now.